everybody, I'm here today to talk to you about 9 driving tips for the road test. In this video, I'll be going over 9 simple tips that will help you with your road test. With that being said, let's get right into the video. Driving tip number 1 for the road test is to practice as much as possible. You want to make sure that you're practicing your overall driving and practicing specific driving skills as much as possible. The more that you practice, the better prepared that you'll be for the road test. Driving tip number 2 for the road test is to never make the examiner feel unsafe. One of the worst things that you can do is make the driving examiner feel unsafe. So do everything in your power during the road test to make that driving examiner feel as safe as possible. Take every precaution to make that driving examiner feel as safe as possible. Driving tip number 3 for the road test is to sleep well prior to taking the test. You want to make sure to get a good night's sleep several nights before you take the road test. Now, by getting a good night's sleep, you're going to ensure that your brain is at its highest potential. Your brain is working at its complete potential, and you need that brain power to react accordingly on the driving test and demonstrate those driving skills properly throughout the road test. Moving forward, driving tip number 4 for the road test, study as much as possible. You want to make sure that you're studying as much as you possibly can. Now, I know that I already mentioned practicing, but studying is getting more driving knowledge. So you want to make sure that you're watching driving videos, just like you're doing right now, watching driving tutorials, reading articles about driving, studying driving theory, studying driving road signs, and the theory around driving road signs and what they mean, and so forth. You want to make sure that you are literally studying as much as possible for the road test. Driving tip number 5 for the road test is get to know how your car responds. Now, you may be able to accelerate smoothly in the car that you've been practicing with, but then when you go to take the road test or the driving test, if you're driving with a different car, it might respond differently. So make sure that you are figuring out and getting to know how your car responds to certain driving gestures, and that's going to make sure that you are demonstrating your driving skills according to how well you can actually do them, and not because you don't know how the car responds. Driving tip number 6 for the road test is be nice to the examiner. Now, the driving examiner is a human being, so you should be nice to them. You should be able to have a nice, pleasant conversation with them, and you should be as nice as possible to them. Moving forward, driving tip number 7 for the road test is to prepare for road conditions. You want to make sure that you're watching the weather forecast in advance to prepare for adverse road conditions, for road conditions that are not ideal. So if it says that it's going to be snowing, prepare to drive in the snow. And even if the weather forecast doesn't predict anything with regards to poor road conditions or road conditions that are not ideal, then you still want to make sure that you're able to drive in all road conditions before you take the road test. Moving forward, driving tip number 8 for the road test is to overcome your nerves. It is absolutely normal to feel nervous or have feelings of anxiety before you take the road test, but do everything that you can, everything in your power to overcome those nerves, because the last thing that you want is for those nerves to hinder your ability to pass that road test and get your license. Last but not least, the 9th and final driving tip for the road test in this video is to arrive early. You want to make sure that you are arriving to the driving test location, the road test location, early. Now, you want to do this because you want to make sure that you can take care of any paperwork in advance. You want to do this also because you want to make sure that if there is a traffic jam or something on the road that causes a holdup, that you can still make it on time. And you want to also do this just so you can relax at the driving test location before you take the test, to calm those nerves and get ready to take your road test. And that's basically it. In this video, I've gone over 9 driving tips for the road test. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think down below as a comment. And of course, be sure to subscribe for more great car and driving videos just like this one. And that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching.